Good morning, world. Good morning, TikTok. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning to all the platforms that I post to. I just had a random thought because of several different people and different groups of people that I'm interacting with currently. Okay? Now, there is a ministry group that I participate online. I never met these people. Then there's people within ministry groups that I have actually met in person. And then I have two female friends and another male friend. All three don't know each other. They all have separate ministry programs. One female friend and one male friend has children ministries. The other female has a women's only ministry for women's only issues. Okay? In all cases, whether they be group or individual, I gotta be careful. Basically, what I'm getting at here is that you will have different groups for different issues, different topics, okay? Now, no matter what it is, if you are running one of these programs and you don't like having contact with law enforcement, especially sheriff's deputies, I've been saying this for years, and now starting this TikTok, I've been saying it over and over again. I personally trust only county sheriff's departments, okay? Because I have found in my personal life that city cops, local PD, they just can't be trusted. There might be some within the PD you can trust, but a great majority of them are a bunch of punks. Now, my point about that is that if you have one of these ministry programs, or you're just a basic individual, working a normal job, if you have limited contact with law enforcement, you rarely ever speak to them, okay? You shouldn't have any worries or fears if you're not doing something stupid or illegal, right? And if you're not doing wrong in your life, why should you be fearful or upset that, the sheriff's department wants to make contact with you? There shouldn't be any ill behavior or animosity about it, especially when somebody calls to do a proper health and wellness check. Just to validate somebody's doing okay. Most of my friends would see that as, oh shit, I better call my friend and say, hey, yeah, I'm fine. Sorry, I haven't been communicating with you. In general, if somebody's worried about you and they can't find a way to make contact with you, there shouldn't be any animosity towards the person that asked law enforcement to go out there and check. Okay? Another thing, if you have one of these ministry programs and the deputies show up because their family's participating in, the shindig, there's absolutely no reason for you to freak out saying, oh my God, what's the sheriff's department doing here? That is a basic sign right there. Okay? I saw that with my own eyes. And my ears are ringing. Like, you're saying what? Because they're here? I'm thinking in my head, something ain't right. Okay? Now, you cannot make accusations. You don't know. I don't know. Okay? But if you get people around you with these speculations, something's wrong. Okay. There are certain body language cues and verbiage cues that alert law enforcement and people like me that have the knowledge and skills and experience to pick up on certain cues, to understand that there's something hidden or fearful when somebody does not like to see law enforcement present. Okay? Over the years, having private investigator license in several different states, I have worked with county sheriff's departments to help them find people. Okay? This is not just a hobby. This is a winter job I went and did several years in a row. I would pay that state or county, or the state and county in that state, wherever I was, to get that private investigator license. For a winter job, I would help out with investigations and find people because I'm just an average Joe. I don't wear a uniform. Okay? And for the young folks that are interested in investigation of any type, okay? In my personal experience, I think a private investigator with the further certification, credentials, license, bonding, and insured to fulfill warrants and to do further investigation, you can do these things without the policies and procedures of the sheriff's department or police department, because they have certain things that they have to abide by because they are an official police or sheriff's department. Okay? These departments are a part of the local government, so they have to follow certain things. Okay? As a private investigator, as long as you do not interfere with somebody's life and you do not show force or intimidation, you're just in a distance observing or doing background information, kind of detailed information. Okay? As a private investigator, you have these authorities and access to certain things. Okay? But it is the responsibility of the private investigator to turn in the evidence to law enforcement, or to bring the evidence to the person that would hire me to go find these people. Okay? Now, with all that said, I built up a working relationship with different departments. Okay? And yeah, I have a mouth and I don't stand down very easily. And you have to show me evidence to prove that, whatever the proof is. Okay? Some folks think because law enforcement is present, they are an issue. When in fact they're average people, especially like the county sheriff's department. Usually that's country folk. Okay? And those that work and live out in the country are community-based people. Okay? Now with that said, a ministry program is a community-based program. Okay? At no point should anybody within the structure of the ministry or ministry program should have any fear about making contact for whatever reason. Okay? That is a surefire sign that something's up, something's hidden, something that somebody doesn't want to be found out about. Okay? It could be as simple as a truth or lie. It doesn't have to be a physical participated crime. It could be just one simple lie or one simple truth coming out. Okay? Things like that only prove to me that even though you're trying to do good and help people, you're not truly healed if you have animosity towards law enforcement. Okay? Law enforcement is just like everybody else. They have a job to do. They have proper procedures. Military, we call it standard operating procedures, SOP. Okay? And a lot of them don't like the SOP for their department. Okay? Because there are gray areas in the law, and I just found out a couple of states up in the Northwest don't think, or what was it said? I'm not going to say the state. There's two actually up there in the Northwest. Supposedly, it is not a crime to have sex with a minor. And yet, federally, it still is. If you brainwash a child into believing that they need to have sex with you, that's still crime. That's still rape. If you force yourself on that child, it's still rape. Okay? Brainwashing a kid into believing that they need to have sex with an adult is disgusting pedophile shit. Okay? That happened in one of the ministry programs on the East Coast. That was what was hidden. Okay? Now, my little tidbit about the Northwest states. That's disgusting and disturbing to find out about. But if you're hiding that on the East Coast, in the Bible Belt area, and you have a ministry program, you were absolutely wrong, sir. That's why you were fearful of the law enforcement being at the family, or I'm sorry, the ministry's barbecue. He probably won't see this. He's in jail. It's okay though. Everybody else that was there that knows my face will know what I'm talking about. Okay? This also leads me back to what I said previously. You're not actually healed if you have fears about and animosities about law enforcement. Okay? Also, when a friend or family member calls the sheriff's department just to go validate that you're okay, that you're alive and well, and some weird shit's not happening in the household, to me, if the sheriff's department showed up, they're like, hey man, you okay? So-and-so's wondering they can't get in contact with you. I would probably explain that either I am willing, voluntarily not in communication, or lost communication somehow. Okay? And then that would also alert me as to my friends and family saying, basically showing me that they care. Now, I've never had anybody actually give a shit. Okay? But if somebody did, and law came to me and said, hey man, so-and-so's checking on you, that'd be make my heart feel big, like somebody actually gave a fuck. Okay? And then that would tell me I need to contact these people that sent law enforcement to come say, hey man, your family and friends, they need to talk to you. They're worried about you. Then that's a choice I would make, to at least reach out, send an email, something. Say, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm fine. I'm still mad at you. Or, I'm sorry, I lost your number, or I got a new phone, and or blah, blah, blah. Okay? For those that do know me, I changed my phone number, and I'm not giving some of those people in my contact list my new number. And I've already had those questions come up. Okay? They'll contact me on the Facebook or emails, and, hey, Mr. James, what are you up to? I can't get a hold of you. Or my other friend is calling me, Jimmy, hey man, we good? You don't talk to me no more. Okay? If you don't have any fears or animosities towards any of these people, and you just lost touch, it is good for your own mental health and theirs just to reach out and say, hey, I'm sorry, I just don't want to communicate with you anymore, or I'm sorry I lost touch. Life really got to me here and here. You know what I'm saying? It's simple courtesies like that that will help communication grow and remain stable. If you don't, there's going to be lots of animosities on the other side, along with doubts of what's actually happening, especially when you breadcrumb somebody or somebody does it to you and you have no idea what the hell's the truth anymore, because everything starts conflicting down the line. You know what I'm saying? To prevent those things, you either stay in communication or blatantly say, done and over with, we cannot communicate anymore. We're not going to be doing that anymore. Or it needs to remain on a business level over here. Or if you're going to be my friend, you can't be involved in my business thing, kind of thing. You know, whatever. There's certain things for certain people that you just got to keep separate. Okay? Me and my son talked about that. It's pretty uncanny that he told me that he does the same thing. Keeping business over here, and family over here, and friends over here. Away from family. I do the same thing, Noah. So yeah, my son's watching. And this video is for everybody. This is just a tidbit from my own mind. Puppies. So yeah, I would like for everybody to really think about, if you have some type of anxiety when you see a uniform, seriously go back into the bathroom and look in the mirror and ask yourself why. Or turn on the phone and sit here and talk to yourself until you figure out why you have an animosity or anxiety when you see law enforcement. I guarantee you, if you're not a criminal, I guarantee you it's the TV and movies. I guarantee you. I don't watch TV and movies. I haven't since 2015. You'd be surprised how clear my mind is. Let's back up a little bit as far as the ministry programs. There are some people that have told me, and I've discussed this in groups, that it is healthy to participate in helping others, service to others, while you're in the healing process. Well, at the same time, there is certain levels to that I can agree and disagree to. Okay? Now, if a person is still going through a healing process and they're still defending their old bad ways and bad habits and things like that, and their choices, they're not healed if they're still defending those things. And those type of people should not be in a leadership position in a ministry program. That's why I keep seeing, like, the leaders of the ministry programs are the ones with the issue that cause issues for the rest of the group. Okay? It is very rarely that somebody comes into the ministry group as a participant and they're end up being the issue. It's more than likely the leadership. Okay? Now, with that said, when you're in this healing process of letting go of all these bad things that have happened to you, I've witnessed and have been going through this research and found that these type of people will always give bad advice, and it will always end badly for the people that took the advice. Again, you shouldn't be in leadership if you're doing that. It's just that simple. And if you're in that leadership position and you're fearful of your past, of what people might say or do or think, you're not healed. I said this in the previous video. If you can't sit here and calmly speak about, the things that you've experienced without being fearful of judgment, you're not healed. You can't be healed. It's a mask to basically pretend that you are by wearing this ministry or preaching lines from the Bible and not really truly understanding what it's saying. It's a mask. Okay? People like that should always be in the subordinate level of the ministry community or program, because they are the ones that need to learn, grow, and develop and heal from whatever is going on in their life. For me, I'm not taking up a leadership position, even though I'm kind of, people come to me, but I'm not taking on clients. I'm not part of the ministry leadership, although the ministry leadership and I do communicate on a regular basis. And my input, I guess, is valid enough for somebody to listen and they think highly of it. Okay? For me, I'm not taking that leadership position until all of my education is done, until all of my everything, where I feel that I have every shard to whatever this major three-dimensional puzzle it is that I'm manifesting in my life. God wants me to make sure I learn all this stupid shit. It may not be stupid shit, but to me it's like, why do I need to learn all these different things to accomplish one? To me, it's the same thing as going to learn all these different construction jobs and farm or ranch life. If I didn't understand then, I do now. Okay? It's the same process for the healing process. As I know I need more pieces to the puzzle to make myself a better person, I also need all the pieces to the puzzle to make my future endeavors manifest. And I cannot do any of that if I'm fearful of being judged about the past, fearful of things that I said and did in the past. They're in the past. I did them and I'm done over with them. You too should be feeling the same way. Let go of the things that you've had to deal with, experience, and traumatized with. Move forward. There's absolutely no reason to be fearful of a uniform when they chase your dog back to the house or they show up at the church cookout with their family. You ain't gotta freak out. They just got off their shift. That one really like, what? He lives in the community down the street from the church. Everybody knows he's the sheriff's deputy. What's the issue? So anyway, obviously that person had something major to hide. So when you're dealing with this whole aspect of the healing process, you're also finding out who you are. Okay? You're growing, you're developing. And the more you let go of what all these things were and had happened, the more comfortable you're going to be to come up here and make a video about anything. It doesn't even have to be anything about your personal life. The confidence in itself will develop into something that you want to manifest, create. Whether it's a video like this, or you have a adult ministry, a children's ministry, a women's only ministry, okay? Or you want to build a scaled down version of Noah's Ark, okay? It could be something like that. Or setting up my home office. Whatever it is you want to manifest. You have to have that confidence to move forward to do it. And to do that, you have to gain the knowledge and perform that knowledge to gain that experience, to build that confidence. Okay? with all that said, I'm going to end it there. I think that's pretty clear. Don't be afraid to let go. Period. And you won't ever be intimidated or have any anxieties or animosities towards a uniform ever again. Yeah, we should leave it there. I could talk about more of this on and on. I'm going to be making more videos, a series of videos for more psychology stuff, and in the evenings I'm going to be sitting down with Counseling Through the Bible Handbook. Okay? We'll go through that a couple times a week in the evenings, and we'll go from there. It has Bible references in it. It's a good starter. The book is by June Hunt, and it's kind of vague. She kept it very straight to the point. There's tons of subjects in here, starting out with how to counsel through the Bible, okay? And it goes through life things. Abortion recovery, adultery, alcohol, anger, or alcohol, drugs, anger, anorexia and bulimia, childhood sexual abuse, codependency, crisis intervention, critical spirit, cult, about dating, decision making, everything you can think of, like life thing that you deal with, okay? Even homosexualities, bad habits, grief, recovery, forgiveness, financial, lying, marriage, adultery was on the last page. Every last thing. I didn't even see that one last time. That one says sexual addiction. I'll have to look that one up later. Suicide prevention, stress management, singleness, sexual integrity. And then the last one is just worry. Worry, the chapter's called Worry, the Joy Stealer. So anyway, there's all kinds of stuff in that book. I'll be going through that book at least once a week in the evenings. Until then, I hope you all have a good night, good afternoon, or good morning whenever you're watching. Today is Saturday. It's 8:30 in the morning. So we're going to go outside, get some sun. It's already blaring in my face. Y'all have a good one.